Hey guys, it's Matt and welcome to TurnerTek. In today's vid, we're going to be exploring some live streaming basics to get you up and streaming today. Last time we did a video on this, it was an absolute disaster, ending in a complete meltdown of me on camera. This time it should be a lot more straightforward, so without further ado, let's jump right in. Today's video is brought to you by Baker Marketing Firm, but more on that in a bit. Okay guys, so let's just jump right on in. We're going to break this video down into multiple different parts, but first, what is the easiest way to get started streaming today? And that is just streaming directly from your PS5 or your Xbox Series X. Both of them have streaming options built right in. You can just log into your platform of choice, stream there. You can also use Discord audio on both, which I highly recommend. It's going to give you a lot more audio control and options, especially with your chat. So I highly recommend using Discord. It's also a great way to create interaction with your viewers. So Discord's a great option. Once again, it integrates for free on both consoles. For a little bit of extra to your stream, you can actually use a webcam on both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The PS5, you are limited to their webcam, link in the description below to purchase it. It's really not that bad though, so it's a great pickup if you're a PS5 user. Xbox Series X, you're pretty much limited to nothing. Most webcams that work on Windows work on an Xbox Series X. Once again, we'll put the link in the description below so you can see the compatibility list. But if you have one of those webcams or need to pick one up today, you can, and you can start using a webcam on your stream right from your console. For one final touch on this PS5 or Xbox Series X stream, you can actually add a microphone to it. Now, not all microphones will work, so I'll have affiliate links in the description below for you guys to be able to pick one up today that is fully compatible with that stream. And honestly, you basically have a full streaming setup directly from your console. So this is the basic, easiest way to get started streaming today. Okay guys, so that's it for the basic streaming setup, but let's say we want to have more of that Twitch feel. You want to have some graphic effects on the screen and have a little bit more of that professional look about your live stream. You're not going to be able to do that directly from your PS5 or Xbox Series X. Or can you? More on that in a bit. But to get started, we have several pieces of equipment. I actually want to go ahead and start with talking about lighting, because this is something you can actually use for a basic streaming setup as well, and I would highly recommend if you're going down the webcam route, you really need to do this, but lighting is everything. So I would recommend a ring light such as this from Elgato, but honestly, any inexpensive large ring light from Amazon would work. All you want to do is create even lighting across your entire face. Even here in the TurnerTek studio, I use such type of lighting. It's not a ring light, but I have two large fluorescent lamps here, and of course I have the color bar LEDs behind me just to create dynamics. The more light you have in your image, and if you can even add color effects and stuff, the better it's going to make that stream feel. So if you're going down the webcam route, whether it's on the basic setup we already talked about, or in the more advanced setup we're about to jump into, having even face lighting if you're going to use a webcam is a must. Okay, so next we're going to talk about headsets. This once again is something you're going to need in both the basic and the advanced setup, and honestly, having a decent headset is an absolute must, especially if you're going to be streaming games. If you want to be able to hear when that enemy player is coming around the corner, or be able to have your buddies hear you through the mic clearly in chat, you need a good headset. You don't necessarily need this. This is a wireless Arctis Pro from SteelSeries. I love this headset. It's truly high fidelity sound. Honestly, the fact that the mic retracts up inside of the headset, you can Bluetooth connect these to your phone. I love listening to music on them. I pretty much use them for everything in my personal life here at home when it comes to over-the-air audio. These things are truly fantastic. The mic actually has noise canceling. If you can see, we'll do some close-ups of this, but there are actually two microphones on this headset. One is the one you talk into. The other one literally listens to the environment around you and cancels out that sound so it doesn't corrupt your chat. This is a Discord certified headset as well. I highly recommend it, but it is expensive. I believe we're at the over $300 price tag on these. So this would not necessarily be that basic setup. It could be used in the basic setup, but this would be more for those advanced users. But honestly, you can pick up, we use them for our camera. Actually, right now, cameraman's using them. I have a pair of Corsair. I'll put somewhere in this region, I'll put the exact model of them, but they're just a wired headset. They work really great on PS5 or Xbox Series X. I've never had any of my buddies complain about the quality of my chat audio from it. The headphone audio is just really stellar, fantastic. I've played hundreds of hours of Warzone on those. I actually only got these because I basically wore them out as far as gameplay goes But they're super fantastic. I believe they're Corsair H60s or something like that, but I do know this much, they're $60, that's it. It's a very affordable headset. Anything cheaper than that is really just not worth it, guys, just being honest with you. I know everyone wants to hear, here's the $10 headset that gets you started today. I just really wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend saving the money, get the 50 or 60 bucks you need to get the Corsairs. They're excellent headsets to get started, and then someday maybe upgrade to a pair of these. Okay guys, so let's next talk about microphones, because once again, you can now use this in the basic setup as well. I'm not going to do a full review today or a comparison, because this is actually the only mic I own right now, and I do plan in a future video having several microphones and doing a comparison, so we'll save that for another time. I will give a pitch though for Elgato. They don't make the Wave 1 anymore, but they do make the Wave 3 still. This is an excellent microphone. Anytime I'm on Discord and I switch my audio from my headset mic to this mic, as good as this mic is, everyone always has a noticeable difference in my quality when I switch to this one. So I would highly recommend, especially if you're trying to go from the basic to the advanced, you're trying to transition, any one of the microphones that's compatible with PS5 or Xbox, they're going to be compatible on PC or Mac as well. So I highly recommend getting an Elgato, or really anyone that's of your favorite brand. They're all pretty good. Like I said, we'll do a comparison video later on, but getting a microphone is an absolute must for your streaming setup. Okay, so let's talk about the more advanced setups now. And the first thing you're going to need is a great capture card. So I have here the Elgato HD60S Plus. This is my capture card of choice right now. I know they have some newer models, but honestly, even outside the Elgato branding, any of these capture cards from any of the major brands do work well. I just would highly recommend getting one that has pass-through on it. This one here actually does 4K 60 pass-through, so I can game on my PS5 or my PC and still pass through that 4K to my monitor. It will capture in 1080 60, which is really great for streaming. It will give you a really high quality professional look to your stream. So this thing, guy, is so easy to use. There's literally just an HDMI output, that's that 4K out that goes to your monitor, or 1080, it just can do up to 4K. And then on the back you have your input that does the up to 4K input. You also have your USB-C for power. And you also have the audio input jack. Why is this important? On game console, it will not pass through chat audio over HDMI. That's right, it will not do that. That is something that made the first time I did this video so difficult, and I banged my head forever trying to figure this out. That is why they have this audio input jack here. This is so important to know. So if you are streaming from console through a capture device, you're going to need a special cable, and I actually have that cable right here for Elgato. This guy is so easy to use. You literally plug this end into this box, and then this end here, you have one end that plugs into your PS5 controller, and this is the end your headset plugs into. Well, if you have a wireless headset, well, you gotta make sure you have a wireless headset that has AUX on it. That's one reason why I like and highly recommend these SteelSeries Arctis Pros, because they do have an auxiliary jack on it for doing wired audio on it still, which you will need to do for streaming if you're streaming from console. So what this guy will do is it will literally steal that chat audio and reintegrate it into your HDMI so you have it for your stream. This is very important, once again, if you're doing console streaming through a capture device. Another thing, something I did not know, forever I had terrible audio on my stream. Every time I'd stream, I'd constantly be unplugging this, plugging this back in, unplugging it from my headset, and I could not figure out why in the world the audio sounds so bad. I had this loud buzz in it, and it's because I had a ground looping problem. We're not going to do a physics lesson today, but I can tell you this from Pro Audio World. Basically what it is when you have high Z to low Z or low Z to high Z devices, you have this issue with the ground not being very strong. So think about that game controller, it's just a USB powered device. There is no grounding in it basically. So it just has this really dirty audio it produces, and that's the source for all of your chat audio. So every once in a while you're going to get that ground loop coming through, and it's going to sound like this zzz in the background. If you've heard it before, you know what I'm talking about. So Elgato's actually made a solution themselves for this. There's a new cable, which I just have not upgraded to yet, that has a ground loop built into it. If you already have the cable like me, or you have all the components you need to do a makeshift cable, like you have the splitters and everything in order to do it, you can get a ground loop 8-inch jack adapter for about $5 to $10 off of Amazon. This one is a Xiocom brand. Like I said, it literally can just be a $5 one. You don't need to buy something expensive for this. If you already have the cables you need for the splitting, you do not need to buy something expensive for this. This little guy here, this is all it is. It is completely backwards compatible. It does not matter which side I plug into. I literally just plug this little adapter cable that came with it. This will then plug into here, and now this will remove any ground looping that's sent to it. So we can now just take our cable, like we did before, plug that in, plug this into our controller, plug this into our headset, and now we're gonna have pure, clean audio, chat audio coming into our live stream. I know that this is kind of the boring part of the video, but I'm telling you, people will forgive you for not having the best lights or not even having a webcam at all, but if they can't hear you and your friends talking, they're not going to forgive that, and your goal leaves their stream. If they can't hear you, they're going to leave your stream. If they can't hear your chat, they're going to leave your stream. This is the single most important piece if you're not doing a basic streaming setup and you're going to be streaming chat from a console. You have to have this cable and you have to have ground loop protection. One more time though, Elgato does make an all-in-one solution called the Chat Link Cable Pro. I'll have that link in the description below so you can purchase that if you don't have one of these yet. It's a very, very important piece to have if you're going to be doing streaming from console today. Okay, so next, let's talk about webcams. We're gonna go all the way from the basic to the more advanced options. The most basic is if you're on a PS5, once again, there's only one webcam that works on it, Sony's webcam. So go buy one of those today and you'll be, once again, streaming with a webcam. If you're on Xbox Series X or you're on PC though, there's a lot more options out there. I highly recommend Razer's options just because they have the ring light built into them, so you can kind of cheat, not get this guy right away. It actually works not half bad. I wish I had the Pro version of the Kiyo though. That wasn't available when I got my webcam. I would not just get the Kiyo. I know it's more expensive for the Pro. Trust me, because of the exposure, you're going to want the Pro version of this. Just trust me on it. It might be a few more dollars, but you're going to want to get it. Or get Elgato's webcam as well. Both of them have very low apertures, which means it lets in more light, so you can get away with smaller light sources, such as this little tiny ring light on the Razer Kiyo. So I would recommend one of those options. You just plug them in through USB, and you're ready to start streaming on your Xbox or your PC. Now, if you're on PC and you're ready for something more though, you want to get into that more advanced state. That's where I really struggled. I tried some of the cheap stuff that other YouTubers have recommended and stuff, and I'm telling you, you're opening yourself up for nightmares. I've used some of those cheap China trash from Amazon capture devices that convert to webcam. I've tried all those. They don't work well. They fail all the time. So a lot of them, you gotta find like which USB port your computer likes it on. It's just a lot of hassle. You really just need to get an Elgato Camlink 4K. I know this is starting to sound like an Elgato sponsored video. It's not, but it's just because they really make the best stuff in this space. This device, I believe they're $99, link in the description below. They are 100% worth every penny. And I'm telling you, the knockoff ones that are actually worth buying that semi-work, they're still gonna run you about 40 to 50 bucks. So for the price of two of those, for the one that died on you and the next one you had to buy anyways, you could have just had one of these. I've had this thing for years and it still works rock solid. And once again, like I said in its name, it's the Camlink 4K. Yes, you can hook up to a 4K DSLR or mirrorless to it. So really your streaming quality is endless with this device. You literally plug it in and it's ready to go in Windows. So I highly recommend it. And I actually too, if you've ever watched my stream before, I use the camera that we're filming on right now. That's right, my Lumix GH4 is both my studio camera and my streaming camera. I just have it on a universal mount plate so I can just move it back and forth to wherever I want to use it. Something like this is great. And I can tell you actually pricing wise, it's very competitive. You can buy a GH4 used off eBay today for only about $300. To be honest, you're going to be in the $200 to $300 range on some of your better webcams anyways. So personally for me, picking up a guy like this and having a mirrorless is really the way to go for that middle tier to advanced streaming setups. Last but not least, before we jump into software solutions for both Mac and Windows, I do want to talk about something that's very specific for Mac streaming. So Windows, everything's pretty easy, especially if you're on a desktop. I don't think I've ever seen a Windows desktop that doesn't have both an audio out and in. I think you can in the corner see our Dell all-in-one portable here. he kind of somehow snuck into this video. And even on him, if we took the back off, he does have audio in and out. Streaming the Twitch from the Dell All-in-One coming soon? I'm just kidding, guys. I have no idea, but maybe. But on a Mac, especially a modern Mac, they don't have both ports anymore, especially if you're on the MacBook. They removed having dual ports. It's so sad. I have a 2012 MacBook Pro. That was the last one that had both ports. It's very, very sad. On the flip side, if you're a Mac user, you kind of do know, except for their newer devices like Elephant in the Room, they've always kind of had not the best of audio. Their headphone jack's not really been all that great. In fact, if you want to ever hook your Mac up to a more professional setup, you got to get DI boxes to get, once again, that noise that we were talking about earlier. You got to remove that from Macs. It's complete nightmare, their audio. Honestly, the speakers built into them are terrible. So it's not the end of the world they removed it, because it wasn't that great of a sound card anyways. And honestly, there's some great solutions like this one here from Audio Technica. It's just a USB audio interface. You don't need to get something fancy like Focusrite or whatever. This guy, I forget how much he was. I'll put that on the screen right here. But he was pretty inexpensive, and he gives you split audio in and out. And there's actually a little volume control right here on the side too, I believe for that audio input. And you can mute right on it. So this is actually a great little guy. I highly recommend it. When I used to stream from Mac, this is the device I used, so I could get both my headphone and my audio input on this device. So I highly recommend these if you're streaming from Mac. Okay, so that's it for all the little individual specific pieces of hardware that we're going to need for making our stream work, whether it's the basic or advanced setup. Now it's time to talk about the software and the configuration to make your stream actually work on Mac or PC. But first, a word from our sponsor. Are you struggling to market yourself and utilize the complicated yet powerful tool of social media? Baker Marketing Firm is here to equip you to harness the power of social media to its highest extent. They will create a professional appearance for your company or personal brand that will make you stand out from the rest. If you're interested in learning more about how Baker Marketing Firm can help you create custom success, click the link in the description below.
Okay guys, so I'm here editing and I'm realizing this video is going to be ultra long. So we're going to turn it into a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 we just did. We went over our hardware. Part 2 is going to be software. It's going to be a style similar to this here. I'm sitting here at my editing desk right now. Well, my remote editing desk, that is, as I'm actually away for Thanksgiving right now. Drinking my Starbucks. Wearing my naughty or nice shirt. We gotta see this. At least I tried. And that's how I feel this video went. I tried. So we're going to do this here. We're going to end this video right here, right now, this way, not in studio, from remote. So that's cool. So yeah, this is the end of part 1. Part 2 coming. We'll probably drop it next week, actually. So we'll have a bonus video this next week, and then we'll still have a video the week after. So anyways, I'm going to do the whole thing here, but I don't have my normal teleprompter, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of this number, and that's just how it's going to be. So that's it for this week. Join us next time for some more tech shenanigans. If you liked today's vid, drop a like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell too. If you want to see more content like this, let me know in the comments. To support the channel, you can join me on Patreon or buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. I would like to thank Baker Marketing Firm again for sponsoring today's video. If you support me on Patreon, I'll give you a shout out over here as well. Join us on Tech Talk December 7th on all podcast platforms for even more tech. For more info on the Techverse, head over to MatthewTurner.co.